What's going on, YouTube? So this is my updated Kinhank 12 terabyte drive. Originally it was a 12 terabyte drive. Now it is a 68 terabyte drive. So I've taken the 12 terabyte, dumped it into a 20 terabyte. I've merged it with the 2 terabyte Chris Cool Mods light gun drive, and I've added a ton of things to it. So the main drive is a 20 terabyte, then I've got two other 20 terabytes merged as a 40, and then I've also recently added a 8. So let's get started. Alright, so this is the system here. Let me just put down the volume. Alright, so this is a system. Most of the things that came with the drive I just kept as is. If I didn't like it, I did remove it. So this is 1900, the shooters. A really good batch of shooters. This I haven't touched. I'm just gonna point out the additions that I've made to the system, any changes that I might have made. Everything else basically came with the system as is. So, Art of Fighting Anthology. I created this. These are basically just the first 3 Art of Fighting games. Art of Fighting 1, 2, and 3, just because I love these games. I remember them as a child, going to a pizzeria and seeing Art of Fighting 1, and that zoom-in feature when the characters approached each other was just amazing to me, how the characters got bigger. And yeah, so I love this series. I used to own them on the AES, all the cartridges. I loved 1 and 3. 2 I hated because it was just so freaking hard. I'd never been able to beat it. I had just never gone back to it. It was just a difficult game, even on the easiest setting. Jaguar CD, I added all the other missing Jaguar CD games. I don't remember how many games there were originally on there, but there were a bunch of them missing, so I just added the rest of them. Oh. So this one I need to add a snap to it. Okay. This one I just changed the smart theme to it. I just prefer this old school Batman 66 video. This I created, it's a Batman Arkham anthology, Arkham trilogy rather. So it's just the 3 Arkham games: Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City. And if you trigger these, they'll basically just run a batch, which will trigger the PS3 version of the game. So there you go. So basically anything I've added, I've either added with batch files, executables, or link files. There you go. Let me just close out of here. Okay. Capcom Fighting Collection. Capcom released this a while back, so I just created this with all the games that they released in that collection. They've got some really great fighters. Capcom versus SNK. This is just some of my favorite fighting games. I just placed in here. I have a big Capcom SNK 2. I love that game. So I wanted to make a collection for it. So let's see, where do we, I guess we'll begin here. Capcom SNK 2 for the PS2. Neo Geo Battle Coliseum. Red Earth. SVC Chaos. This is the Super Plus version, the bootleg with all the extra characters. Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Great fighting game. Capcom Fighting Evolution. Capcom SNK. Capcom SNK Pro. Casio PV2000. This was an add-on that was recently released, so I just placed it in there. Not too familiar with a lot of these games. Galaga I am. Mr. Packin. Clone Hero. So this is like Guitar Hero for PC. You download the tracks. There are thousands of songs you can add to this, and then I use my Wii guitar for it. This is a PC game. So if I click it, just runs the batch to trigger the executable. There you go. Dark Pictures Anthology. Great series of games. There are 4 games in this series: Man of Medan, Devil in Me, House of Ashes, and Little Hope. It's just a great series. There are a lot of jump scares. It's basically those type of games where you get hit with questions and you have like 3 seconds to answer them. You have answers. You have to select from left, right, or neutral. It's just a really fun series. So you can also add applications. So basically, this is my boot. This is my computer piece, my gaming PC. So as soon as I turn it on, it just boots into this OS, into this software rather, Hyperspin Attraction. So I placed a lot of my commonly used programs on it. So Discord. And here I have my Disney collection. So press enter. It just does a search on the all collections ROM list for anything Disney, and I believe I've added some other keywords. So this is just if my daughter or I ever want to play any Disney games, it's just an easy way to find things. Disney Infinity. So this is my Disney Infinity Skylander wheel. I've got the Skylander games being pulled off of the Wii U ROM list, and then the Disney Infinity 1, 2, and 3 off of the PC versions. Just because it's easier, the PC versions come with all the characters and all the stages already in there. You don't have to use the pad and all the little figurines. Electronic Gaming Monthly. So I grew up on this magazine. I used to collect every single magazine. So it's just nice to have a place where I can just, reminisce. I can pull up any magazine that I want. If I wanted to watch, let's say, this one. Just double click. It opens up the PDF. And then from there I can just scroll through. Emulators is basically where I keep all my, I don't want to say main, but all the emulators that I frequently tweak if I ever need to tweak. So I've got Redream in there, I've got Ryojinx, SNES 9X, Shad PS4, which is an amazing PS4 emulator, tons of updates daily. Visual Boy Advance, Vita 4K, Xena Canary, Cemu, Dolphin, DuckStation, Kega Fusion, Citra, MAME, PCSX2, Project 64, RPCS3. Yeah, so any one of these I can just trigger. Let's find a good one. I guess let's go to PCS. So I'll trigger that, and I can play the games, but if I wanted to update it or just mess around with the settings, see, there you go. There's an update for this one. I'm not going to do it now. So it's just easier accessing it from the Wii U as opposed to going through or drilling through tons of folders just to get to it. Fightcade, it's a great PC application which allows you to connect with friends, and you can play fighting games and you can play other games as well, like Mario Kart, Contra, tons of games. So it's just a cool way. If I have a friend in Jersey, if I ever wanted to play like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat with them, or Contra or Mario Kart, I can just connect through here. It actually downloads the ROM for you, and it just connects both of you. So it's like you're sitting in the same room. Pretty cool. Front ends. This is something I just recently did. So there are tons of front ends for these games. So I started off with Launchbox. I wasn't too wild about it. It took a while to, even now when you trigger it, it takes like 20-25 seconds just to load up. So I just moved on from that one. But if I ever wanted to access any of the front ends, I still do have them installed. So I've got Play Night. Play Night is pretty cool. I have several different installs. I have the PC version, PS4, PS5, the Switch, the OG Xbox, and then the Series X Xbox. I've got Retro Arch, Retro Bat, the Steam application, Techno Parent, BlueStacks, which is pretty cool. If you wanted to download like PC game, not PC, phone games, you could download it and then play them from here. CoinOps, Core Type R, which is a pretty cool front end. I love this front end. Epic Games, OG Galaxy, GeoForce Experience, and then the old school Hyperspin. So I'm just gonna start some of these real quick. So looks very similar to Attraction 2. Obviously, this is the base for it. Play Night PC. It closes Hyperspin Attraction, and then it launches Play Night, or else the music's going to be playing in the background. So from here I can just choose any of my PC games. Close that. Reopen Hyperspin. What else I got in here? Blue stacks is pretty cool. So from here I can go to my game collection and I can play some of my phone games, which are actually installed on my PC now. Coin Ops, this is the 2 terabyte light gun retro beast made by Chris Comods. Very, very cool. Just strictly light guns. Actually, it's not strictly light guns because it's also got MAME and Techno Parrot, but it's mainly all light gun games are on here, whether PC or console. So you trigger that, it loads this up, and this is the Chris Comods system. So you've got all the light gun games in here broken down by different consoles. Tons and tons of great shooters. I use the retro shooters for this, so I've got the 4 sensors around the TV. Techno Parrot, tons of games, which these are more newer games. Games that you'll typically find in like Dave & Buster's. My main section is, I believe it's this one. Yeah, these are the PC games. So I've recently been playing, let's see if I find it, right here, Blue Estate, great shooter, really fun. Alright, let me get out of here. Let's see what else. Core Type R, another great front end. So you've got all the PC games there, MAME and Triforce. And then if you go back, you've got computer stuff. Okay, so this one is our collections or arcade. This is PC, consoles. You can go in there. It'll switch it to consoles. Go back to the main menu. You can go back to handhelds. You can just click on any one of these and then you have access to all the games in that folder. It gives you a little snap of it. So, really cool front end. Alright, let me get out of front ends. Future Pinball did not work from the start, so I had to go into the folder and manually start it and then load up a game, and now the games work fine. So if you're having issues with this, go to the folder, find the actual application. It should be under emulators, and start from there, load up one of the ROMs, and then you'll be able to use it off the wheel. Game guides are just like strategy guides for some of my favorite games or whatever I found online. So, trigger that, it'll just pull up the PDF. And you can just cycle through a magazine. Once you're done, you can just close it. Gamepedia is basically just like an encyclopedia of the consoles. So if you go in there, actually it's got more than consoles, but it's just like very detailed about consoles and other gaming related things. So if I want to pull up Nintendo 64, I'll just click on that. It'll pull up a PDF and it'll give me like the breakdown of the system, all the specs and all the games ever released for the system. So it's just a pretty cool thing to have. There you go. So every game in detail. exit out of here. This just allows me to access the Google Chrome browser quicker. Guitar Hero and Rock Band. So this is just a collection of guitar games. I believe it pulls, yep, everything pulls off of the Wii ROM list, because I do use the Wii guitar for this. So just all the Guitar Hero games, Rock Band games in one place. This I recently updated. There was an add-on released. It did come with it, but there was an add-on released which had tons of more games. So I added that. I just overwrote whatever was in there. So I've got tons more of games. I remember, let's see, Road Blaster. I was big on. I used to play that on the arcade, and Time Gal I used to play on the, I want to say, Sega CD. These other games I'm not too familiar with. This is something I recently added. This is just like more modern type of casino slot machine games, which like if you go to Atlantic City or any other type of casino, you'll typically see more of these casino type slot machines. So this is just an app which has I believe it's like 15 different slot machines. Injustice, this is just the Injustice collection, just 1 and 2. These are the PC versions. The Just Dance collection. So I've got all the Zumba games, all the Disney dance games, Nickelodeon dance games, all the Just Dance games. And this is pulling off of the WiiU ROM list. Wii ROM list. Kodi, so this allows me to watch Kodi. I just have to trigger the VPN before I trigger this. Lego games is just a collection of all my Lego games. So I'll just click in there and I have access to every Lego game, whether PC, GameCube, PlayStation, Wii U, everything is in there. And I just filtered it for one version, the best version of every game. So I know, say, Lego Batman 2 was released on numerous systems, so I just filtered it for the Wii U. So one version of every game. Marvel vs. Capcom, this was recently announced, so I decided to make a Wii U. Actually, no, this is not the Wii U. This is just the newer Marvel vs. Capcom games. So it's got Infinite, Ultimate Marvel 3, and then Marvel Capcom 2. So these are the 3 more recent Marvel vs. Capcom games. And then this is the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection that was recently announced. So I've got all the games in there. This is pulling off of the MAME ROM list. Marvel Studios is basically just all the Marvel movies that had come out recently. So I can just, let's click on it and it'll load up the movie. Eventually. There we go. So I'll just cycle through here. MS-DOS collection. Only things I've added in here are Rise of the Triads. I used to love this game as a child, and Star Wars Dark Forces. And they do load up fine. I just have to click it. It'll load up a DOS box. And then from there, just point it to the executable. So, and there we go. It loads up the game, and then I have full control with the Xbox. What is this? The Xbox One controller. So this is my Play Night Xbox. Let me see. I hope I closed Play Night. Let me see. So if you don't close Play Night properly, you'll get the previously loaded Play Night. So this is a PC edition. So let me just close it. Just make sure you always do exit instead of the X in the upper right hand corner. So now if I do this, it'll load up the Xbox version of Play Night. There you go. So I have access to the full library as opposed to what's on the wheel, which I believe is only 600 and something. So this is 627. This has got 800 and something. Xbox 360. This is a mixture of Xbox 360 and PS3 games. Or PS2 games. PS2 games, I think. Whereas this is my complete library of 360 games. It triggers off Xenia Manager. And it's set to use the Canary emulator. I've also got some, let's see, right here. So I've got Chucky Wanna Play, which was never released. It was recently found on a development system. Still not complete, crashes often, and it's just not finished. But it's still cool to have. Very dark in some areas, so kind of hard to know where you're going. All right, let me just exit out of here. Brings you back to Xenia Manager. I'll just close that. Then I've got Xbox Live games set up in another Xenia Manager. So I keep my 360 and my Xbox Live arcade games separate. Xbox One, this is something I did. Just added all the Xbox One games that I own. And these are just batch files which pull the executable. Series X, just the 5 games. I think it's like 5 games that I own for the Series X. Play Night Series X. Oh man, I don't remember if I closed Play Night properly. Well, let's see. So it shuts down Hyperspin Attraction. It opens up Play Night. And I closed it wrong, so let me do it again. There we go. So it loads up the Xbox Series X type of interface, and from there you can just select the game you want. This time let me make sure I close it right. So always go to Exit Play Night. Mortal Kombat collection is something I tweaked. It comes with like a collection of every Mortal Kombat game. It was just a little too much. So I just tweaked it for just like one version of every Mortal Kombat game. Just my favorite version of the games, whether it's the MAME or the PC or whatever console it was released on. So just one version, the better version. Mugen games, I removed, I think it was 2 of them, which were giving me virus warnings, and I added a couple more. The Naruto collection, this is something I did for my nephew, who's into this. So I just gave him a collection of every Naruto game, and then from there he can pick whatever he wants to play. Nickelodeon games, just a collection of Nickelodeon games. Citra, this pulls up the emulator and all of my ROMs. It comes with a bunch of ROMs, but not. I have more, so I just rather use the emulator itself. I can tweak any of the settings, and it's just easier for me to go this route as opposed to adding them all to the Wii U, which then I have to find the logo art and the snap video and edit ROM lists, and it's just a pain in the ass to do it that way. If you have a lot of games to add, if it's like 1 or 2, then it's pretty fun to do, but if it's a lot, then it's just not worth it, or at least for me it's not. Nintendo 64 manuals, so this is just like before, just PDFs of the game manuals. So Smash Brothers. Nintendo Amiibo. So this is just a cool little app I found online. Since I have the Disney Infinity, I have the figures, and I also collect the Amiibo figures. It's a cool little app. It allows you to just go through the collections and add whatever characters you own. So if you have Donkey Kong, Mario, Kirby, Peach, you can just click on them, highlight them that you have them, and then from there you can go back. And if you want to do the Mario, or let's see, Yoshi, you can just click on whatever Yoshis you have. It's just an app which allows you to track whatever Amiibos you collect. Also for, where is it? I think it was for the DS or the 3DS. There's a small little edit. I have a video on my channel, a small little edit which you can do. You add an extension to the emulator's configuration, and it gives you like 100 or 200 more games. On this drive, there's tons of games which are there, and the logos and the snap videos, but for some reason they're also on the ROM list, or they might not be on the ROM list, and all you have to do is add them and they'll show up and they'll work. So the games are there, but they're just not added, or the extension is not added to the emulator configuration. So I found that out recently. I added the extension and bam, I just had like another 200 games. I think it was for the DS or the 3DS, I don't recall. Nintendo GameCube, I also added a couple more games. Some games were missing. I added some games in here. GameCube manuals, same thing as before, just pulls up the PDF. Nintendo Power, pulls up the PDF to every Nintendo Power. So this did take a while to, basically I just cloned the Xbox magazine collection, and then from there just recreated the ROM list, changed the logos and the snaps. Super Nintendo, I added 2 games. I added Sydney Hunter and the Caverns of Death, and I added I think it was in here, right there, Dottie Flowers. It's a great, like a platformer or shooter type of game. Really fun game. Super Nintendo manuals, just some of my favorite manuals if I ever wanted to reference them. Nintendo Switch Play Night. So if I click this, this will pull up a Play Night with the Nintendo Switch front end. And then from there I can just cycle through the games that I want. These are just some of my daughter's favorite games. Just easier, make things easier for her to find her games. So I think they're all just first party games. And then I have the WiiU emulator, which if I click, it'll take a bit to load, but it'll start up the emulator, and then I have access to my Switch collection. Virtual Boy, I added this one here, Hyper Fighting, which is a great Street Fighter conversion clone. It's great, plays amazing. So I added that, everything else was there. For the Wii, I also did have to add a couple more games. I noticed some of my games, or some games, were missing. I added a bunch of Barbie games for my daughter, and I don't recall what else. Maybe some Lego games. Oh, the whole Ben 10 collection. I think it only had like 2 of them or 1 of them, so I added the whole collection. So I added a couple games. This just pulls up the Dolphin emulator, and then from there I can tweak it or just load up any game. WiiWare, this came with the system. Wii U, I also added a couple Wii U games to here. I think Epic Mickey 2 was one of them. I added I want to say this one, Game & Wario, I'm not sure about that. I added all the Legos, a bunch of them were missing. I added the Just Dance games and some other stuff. CMU emulator, so this just pulls up the CMU emulator, and then I have access to the emulator itself and whatever games are loaded on there. This is something I created, the WiiU Shop, eShop. So I was surprised none of these games came on this drive. I mean, the games are really small. I'll just let it load up real quick. Once all the icons load up, so once everything loads up, I just like to go here, just so everything loads up full screen. And then from there, I can select whatever game I want. The N-Gage Nokia, had to add this. This was a pain in the ass to do. I downloaded all the logos and the snap videos off of a Internet Archive link that I found. Pac-Man Championship Edition. So this is the two Pac-Man games that recently came out. Championship Edition DX Plus and Championship Edition 2. These are PC versions. PC games, I don't think I tweaked anything in here. I don't think I added anything. Actually, I did. Where is it? This. They recently released a couple of Outrun HD patches for this game. So I downloaded them, I applied them to this, and now the game looks amazing. So you can find those on GitHub. You can just do a search for Outrun 2006 HD. Everything else came with this. This is PIA, private internet access. This is just my VPN. So I usually use this if I'm downloading something or if I'm just looking around on Kodi. Pinball M, a great collection of pinball games, like horror type games. So this has like Texas Chainsaw, Duke Nukem, Child's Play, a bunch of great games. And this is wired for the 360, not the 360, the Xbox controller. So these are the tables. The Thing, Dead by Daylight, Wrath of Elder Gods, Texas Chainsaw, System Shock, Chucky, Duke Nukem. I'll just start one up real quick. There we go. Let me just close it. Pinball FX, another collection of great pinball games. Star Wars, Marvel, South Park, Trolls, Pinball FX2. This is the older set. It's got Marvel, it's got South Park, it's got Family Guy. Actually, this one doesn't have Family Guy. So Walking Dead. This one has Family Guy and a bunch of newer stuff like E.T., Jaws. Play Night PC, so we saw this before. Plex, if I click on this will pull up my Plex Media server. It allows me to watch any one of my movies or TV shows. Just click on movies, load up any movies, click on new releases, have access to that, TV shows, 4K movies. Plex Amp, it's like a music player, really cool. I wish there was like an actual PC port. This is a PC port, but it's the it resembles. It basically looks like a the actual app on the phone. Let me just see if I can get back to. Okay, so I can go to library. I can go to albums, and then from here I can pull up any one of my albums. So if I want to pull up a Michael Jackson Thriller, I'll just click on that. It'll show me all the titles, and then from there I can play anything I want. Quantum Dream is 3 of my favorite games. I used to play these. I want to say it's on the PS3. So Detroit Becoming Human, I think this was on the PS4. Heavy Rain was definitely on the PS3. It's also on the PS4 now. And Beyond Two Souls, which is also a great game. So all three of these games have been added to here. Rio Links just allows me to connect to my home security system and just monitor my cameras. Retro Beast, it's the coin ops. I think we saw this before. Just allows me to pull up my all my shooters and Techno Parrot games, which I also have another section for. Close that. Retro, what is this? Rocket Launcher. So if I wanted to make any edits to my emulators, I can just launch it from here. Scum VM. So I found all the, there was a bunch of snaps and logos missing, so I recently found those and placed them on there. Now everything looks good. I have tons of games which I used to play with my daughters when they were smaller, like the putt-putt games, Blue's Clues, a couple of others. Dreamcast collection, and then I've got my Redream, which allows me to play any of the Dreamcast games in HD. So this is pretty cool. Let me just close this. Okay. Dreamcast manuals. Just some of my more favorite PDFs. Sega Genesis, this is the only game I've added to this. Real Bout Fatal Fury Genesis Edition, which was released recently online. Genesis manuals. Triforce, there was an add-on recently for this, so I just overwrote whatever came in the system. This one has Mario Kart 1 and 2 together. If you've never played these, you should definitely check them out. They're different than the Mario Karts on the Wii U, and the Switch. Neo Geo System, AES. This was another one I had to work on. It was previously called Neo Geo Classics. So I removed that whole Classics thing and I dumped the AES, and I just redid the ROM list. So now it's got every game, whereas before the Classics did not. We've also got the MVS collection in there. DuckStation emulator. Just allows me to pull up the emulator and access the complete library of games. I can tweak anything I want to from here. So these, some of the emulators that I have on the Wii U are just there because I like to keep my emulators frequent. So anytime there's an update, I like to update the emulator. Whereas some of these, you can update the emulator, but if you do, you might it might start in the background. You'll get an error, meaning that you have to update also the module, or just add the new emulator in Rocket Launcher if you don't want to get that error. But I'd just rather see the emulator on the Wii U. Same thing with this PCSX. Just triggers the emulator. I have access to the library. PC RPCS3, PS3 emulator, PlayStation Network. These are all the network games that were released. I like to keep these separate from the PS3 library. PS4 Pro. So did I do this? Let me see. No, I didn't touch this. This came with the system. PS4 Play Night. This one I did do. So it closes Attraction. It loads up the PS4 type interface. Just make sure I close this properly. Start up Hyperspin again. Shad PS4, great emulator, receiving tons of updates daily. Just have 2 games in there so far. PS5, this one I did. So I think it just had 2 games when it originally arrived, so I added a couple more games. Most of these are either PC or Steam games. They're all PC games, I guess. And then Play Night PS5. Just pulls up the PS5 type theme. And then from here, I can just pull up any game I wanted. So, in this case, nope, I don't want to start it. Close. Oh, yeah. Let me just make sure I close it right. PS Vita. This was an add-on that was recently released, and I just tweaked it. I just added all my Vita games to it. All with snaps, everything works nice. And this one also gets tons of updates frequently, the emulator. So I do have the Vita 3K emulator there, just so I can update it. Spider-Man, did I do? I think I just changed the what is this called? The smart theme, the video. That's it. Everything else is as is. SpongeBob, this one I recently created. It's got all the SpongeBob games in there. I added Steam, so I can access all my Steam games. Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. This was something that was recently, well, not recently, it was released a while ago. So I just created my own version of it. Basically the same exact games. I might have added a couple like Street Fighter, the movie, and the EX versions of the games, but other than that, everything is there. Street Fighter Collection, I think this was... Yep, this is the one that came with the system. Sunset Collection, this was released on the PS2. It's just 2 games, which were on the arcade and the Neo Geo cons, AES and MVS, I guess. So it's just Waku Waku and Galaxy Fight. Okay, so this is the Techno Parrot that came with the system. I added a couple more games to the Wii U, but then I also decided to go this route where I can just trigger the emulator itself, and there's another emulator that gets updated pretty much daily, numerous updates a day. There you go, there's updates. But then I have access to everything there, so I have added every game to here. Terradrone, Rise of the Boogeyman. This is a PC game that was released a couple years ago. It doesn't have controller support, so I use a key to joy just to map the keyboard buttons on my controller. That seems to work okay. Tomb Raider, these are the more recent 3 releases of Tomb Raider on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. So Rise of the Tomb Raider, regular Tomb Raider, and then Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Virtual DJ is just a software that allows me to connect my Newmark turntable and access my music on my Plex Media server, and I can just throw down if I wanted to. Visual Pinball, it's pretty cool. I just started getting into this. I've only added, I think, a couple of tables here. Let's do Mortal Kombat. These are all homemade tables. Yeah, I'll just close out of here. World's Heroes Anthology. So these are the 4 World Heroes games released. So it's 1, 2, 2 Jet, and then Perfect. I love these games on the AES when I had them. So the Wrestling Collection comes with the system. It's just every wrestling game that's on the hard drive. I just created my WWF WWE collection. It's just the old stuff and all the new stuff in one place, easy to access. X-Men collection, just a bunch of X-Men and Wolverine games. Yet another rhythm game. So this is like Clone Hero and Guitar Hero. Pretty decent. I haven't really used it much, I guess. Just seen videos, so I decided to add it. YouTube. This starts up the YouTube app. And I believe that's everything. Alright, so now I'm going to show you all the hardware that I use. So this here is all the devices that I use, the controllers. So my main controller is an Xbox One controller. And then my daughter will use this one. I want to see if I get her a pink one. And then if we play the Switch, we don't have to, but I like to use these for the Switch. These are the retro shooters, which I use with the Retro Beast. So they're wired in to a device over there. My Wii guns, my Wii Wiimotes. So these, any Wii game that I play, I'll use these. And I have a, I think it's called a Maytag or May something. I think it's called the Maytag Wii Bar. So I just set it to mode number 4. However, anytime you have that on, you just have to make sure you're not using these controllers because it disables these controllers. You can't use these controllers, Xbox controllers. You can't use any controllers if you have this on. So I usually just keep that off unless I'm playing a Wii game. And then I have my Nyko shooters, which I'll just slip in a Wii mode in there if I want to play any Wii games. So that's basically it. And then I have my turntable here. It's a Newmark, that's what it is, Newmark. And then my guitar there if I want to play any guitar games. So these guns run to this little device here, which allows me, so anytime I pull the trigger, it gets a kickback. So this is powered. I only have one gun connected, and then I have a little mini hub there. So if I want to, right now only one device that's connected is powered on, which I think is just an external hard drive I have backing up this interface. The other two are off. So the other two is the this Maytag bar. I keep it off because, or else it'll interfere with the controllers. I only turn it on when I'm using the Wii games. In that case, I'll use my Wiimotes. And then the other one is this other USB cable runs all the way over here. And this has an X input board, and it allows me to play the fighting games. Instead of, I can use these, but I rather use this arcade system setup. And I have a dual display split. So the display comes out of the computer into a splitter, goes into the TV, and it'll also go into this, so I can see the same exact thing on both TVs. I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or if you need any assistance setting anything up, just let me know.